thought seized on one and took our only castable for like max punishment.
Stop! Do you want me to go back upstairs? Because I'm going to have to go back upstairs.
Yeah, I'm just going to concede this. For the sake of time, this is pretty much... I don't play limited, so I don't have an opinion on this limited format. We're going to board in more threats. Intrepid Hero, probably okay in this matchup. Meddling Mage is definitely not great. Quasily Pride Mage isn't great. Relic is medium. Relic can make a Tarmogoyf worse, but it also makes our Knight of the Reliquaries a whole lot worse. I'm not sure I like Relic more than any of these cards we're already playing. Perhaps Relic's better than some of these mana creatures, but mana creatures are also pretty good in the play in this deck. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and submit.
You're driving me crazy.
I doubt they'll ever take Pod off the ban list. Pod is just like a card that like spirals the longer it's there. Like they're just gonna keep printing more and more cards. Like it'd have Thought Knot Seer in Pod now. Like I doubt we'll ever see Pod come back off. Especially with like, so if you want to think about the power level of Pod, they took Pod out of the format, and both Pod decks, Kiki Pod, which natural extension is Kiki Cord now, and Malira Pod, which actually is Malira Company, both of these decks are tier 2, tier 1.5 decks that are like still winning and doing well in events. So I doubt they'll ever put Pod back into the format to supercharge those. Matter Reshaper sounds really hot in Pod, yeah. This hand's slow, but I think it's keepable. Collected Company's pretty powerful. I also just like never like mulliganing. I basically just don't mulligan hands that are lands and spells against decks that play Thoughtseize and Inquisition, because the reason is that you know, you just mulligan to something that has a little bit better curve, and the Inquisition you on one, and your curve's worse than before. So can Jace ever be unbanned? So the problem with Jace, I think, is almost a price point. Jace is a $100 card, $100+ card right now. Suddenly you add it into Modern, and everyone's trying to play it in Modern decks, and now it becomes like a $200 card, and now there's a second Tarmogoyf based on price in this format. I don't think they want another $200 card in Modern. How does the Coco deck feel? This deck's medium, Mox. I don't know. I'm not sure that I would like to play this deck in a diverse Modern format where I wouldn't expect to play Eldrazi half the time. Half your hands just dirtle and don't do anything. I mean, like, that's some of Modern. That's Magic. Like, sometimes your deck just doesn't work. Like, it's a game that's variance by design. Can Jace be unbanned based on power level? Yeah, I think Jace is a fine power level for the format. Personally, I think I'd rather see Ancestral Visions come off than Jace to try and push blue decks in the format. If he has Liliana here, Terminate, sure. Terminate's not too awful for us. Hopefully we hit Untapped Land here. Untapped Land. Untapped Land. Alright.
Monster.
He's escaping! Hopefully Jake will eat some pizza. What kind did you get? Okay. Okay, if we get Liliana'd here, we basically have to hit. Unfortunately, this dies to Bolt. Dark Confidant. Are we going to untap with this? That would be hot. And we get to Reflector Mage as Dark Confidant. Perfect. I'm not attacking with the Knight here because I want to be able to grow it out of Bolt range. So I want to get this past a 3/3 ASAP. So end step, we're going to Knight this Plains into a fetch land and fetch for probably... what are we fetching for? Damnation. Oh, that's gross. Well played, opponent. Well played. Flooded Strand, Breeding Pool, I think. Yeah, Breeding Pool. Guess we draw Eternal Witness. I mean, there isn't any powerful selection in Modern, Patrick. I didn't use it before he had red open because it didn't matter. Our opponent, if he bolted the knight, he can't bolt the knight in response to the land being put into the graveyard. The land being sacrificed for Knight of the Reliquary is part of the activation of the ability, so there's never a point during which we can't activate the knight and save it from a lightning bolt when we pass the turn to him. Also, something he could do could maybe affect what we want to do with what land we want to get with the knight. I don't think Stoneforge Mystic is a good unban in Modern, and the reason for that is Stoneforge Mystic is much like Green Sun Zenith in that it greatly reduces the diversity of the format because, not greatly, it would reduce the diversity of the format because every white deck would automatically need to be playing Stoneforge Mystic or it would just be strictly worse. Thank you, Wifey. Alright, so we hit this. I wish I had a second white source now. I think I'm going to Reflector Mage the Dark Confidant here. Buy ourselves a little bit of time. This is bad if he hits exactly discard spell next turn and takes away our Collected Company. BBE is also fine, probably a fine power level. Yes, you think Song would be degenerate if it came off. All of the fast mana like that needs to not be there. Firing up Raging Ravine, sure.
No, Jake.
Yeah, but Sam Patrick, if you can't see, like, those things are functionally different than playing something that's a win condition. It's functionally different, like a threat that your color has to play versus playing, like, answer cards. So now, all of a sudden, every white deck is a Stoneforge Mystic deck as its win condition. Let's play this. Let's cast the Cocoa. We are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Reflector Mage and Intrepid Hero coming in. Sounds great. I gotta put these in the bottom first. Ah, we actually might pull this game out. I did not think it was looking very good there for a little while. We're attacking for 6. Hey, buddy. We got this path to deal with the Bob. We've got Intrepid Hero to deal with the Goyf, so we need to dodge a second Damnation, basically. Decay is pretty good, so he has Goyf. He has Goyf Confidant, and he can't play Goyf this turn. So we'll end step. We'll end step path. We'll end step path his Confidant if he plays it out, and then we'll untap Sackle Horizon Canopy depending on what we draw. Apologies for the chewing sounds. I will mute the mic when I take a bite from now on. Usually I do that. Kitchen Finks is not bad. He wants to block with his Raging Ravine here. I think I'm okay with that. So Kitchen Finks comes in. That makes us a 4/4. So he's taking at least 4 this turn. He can trade Raging Ravine with this Elemental. He can just eat a Reflector Mage, but then he goes to 4. I mean, you can dispute the fact all you want.
Do you want a beverage?
Yeah, water would be great. Ice water.
Okay, watch them.
Yep. You can dispute all you want, Sam Patrick. I'm telling you that's why Stoneforge Mystic is banned. Stoneforge Mystic probably isn't banned based on power level. It's banned because it would reduce diversity among white decks. There's a Goyf. Pathing the Ravine could be okay there. I think he knows our last card is Path. Can't remember. No, he hasn't seen this. And like most of their bans are about whether or not it's going to make the format more or less diverse. So I'm going to trim some mana guys and bring in the relics and see how that feels. This hand's super medium. Phantasmal Image isn't great without voice, or I think I'm actually going to mulligan this. I said I don't like to mulligan in these matchups. This hand's also not great, but I'm going to keep it. It's got a mana guy at least. Dismember on top's reasonable. Unban Jitty. We do not want Jitty in Modern. Modern's like an all-creature format, and Jitty is miserable to play against in all-creature formats. Yep, that's great. Jitty is safer than Skull Clamp. You're not wrong there. You are technically correct, which one could argue is the best type of correct to be, but that still doesn't mean you should unban Jitty. Thankfully, we have 2 removal spells. One of the reasons Modern was such a great format before Eldrazi, and will be again once Eldrazi is banned, is because since all of the absurdly powerful strategies are banned in Modern, this makes it so a variety of much weaker strategies can rise to the top. If you can ban 10 cards to make 100 other cards playable in the format, then I think it's worth banning those 10 cards to bring 100 other cards into the format in terms of playability. That's my opinion on the Modern ban list. I am happy with where the Modern ban list is at for the most part. You know, Eldrazi excluded. I think they could do a little bit more with the rest of the fast mana. Like, I don't think any fast mana is okay in the format, but other than that, it's not too awful. It's interesting that he took the Dismember and not the Path, so he must want to land more than me to take life. I'm glad we